Welcome back. Here's a question. Should we share our spiritual experiences? Because there are entire organizations who have a one flat answer, which is never share your spiritual experiences. Well, what about, can I share it with a counselor? Even when you talk with a counselor, sometimes they'll say, you know what, let's not talk about any spiritual experiences. Do you think that's a good idea? Let's talk about it. So if we're going to learn meditation and it's venturing out into a land that nobody knows, don't you think it would be a good idea to share the road signs with your fellow travelers? I mean, if we're going to row out into the ocean, shouldn't we talk about the ocean? We're not going to talk about the ocean while we're on the ocean? It seems kind of obvious that maybe it might be helpful if we can all talk about our experiences a little bit and get an idea of what is going on. Now, none of us should be a braggart. If somebody is sharing their spiritual experiences so they can feel superior, of course that's a mistake. That's an obvious mistake, isn't it? I think we're all adult enough to be able to recognize that, right? We can see that. Okay, that's no. That's a no. Let's not go there. But when we're sincere, and if we are able to find somebody else in our lives who's also hopefully a yogi, or at least very open-minded to understanding these spiritual experiences, if we can share with that person, it's so liberating to your personal experience, because just the act of taking what has happened to you in meditation, let's say it happened in the gamma brainwave, and you bring it down and you bring it into words and you share it with your deep friend who is very respectful of you. At that point, you ground it, you bring it into the real world. As the Roman maxim says, so let it be written, so let it be done. When you take an idea and you bring it down and you pin it to the paper and you write it out, it is that much more likely that you will be able to accomplish whatever it is that you write out. Whatever you set out to do, if you can write it down, you are that much closer to actually accomplishing it. You're grounding the idea and you're making it material. Same thing with our meditative experiences. It's very, very grounding. It takes us, as time wears on, our memory, as we re-access that old experience that happened, it gets a little more ethereal, and maybe we bring in more of our doubts. Did that actually happen? Was I just dreaming? But if you grounded it with a friend, or maybe you just write it in your diary and you only share it with yourself, it makes it more real and more palpable to you, and it becomes a road sign in your life that here along the way I shared that with that friend and they recognized what had happened to me. We both celebrated, maybe we had an ice cream together, and maybe they shared with me their own deep experience, and back and forth we learned from one another. Isn't that beautiful? And that's what the master of the mind mirror said, Anna Wise, amazing meditative teacher. She said, if you can take what happened to you in meditation and ground it in your communication with your deep friends, you'll find it's very beneficial to your spiritual path, and it will help to ground your experiences in your own life, and you will get more of a handle on what is actually happening in meditation. A lot of the communication that I do for other yogis is just to confirm what it is that they experienced. It happens all the time. People write me and they try and make it short, which I really appreciate because I get a lot of communication, and they send me their spiritual experiences. And a lot of times it's just me saying, yeah, absolutely, that was Kundalini. Okay, that was the tranquil breath. That was the freeze response. Yes, you are going into absorption. Yes, that is the spiritual eye. It's amazing. It seems so clear to me. People are describing the spiritual eye, and then I say, yes, that was the spiritual eye. And they go, oh my God, I wasn't sure. I was not sure at all. It's amazing. But that is always the first experience I find. When you have a deep experience, you go, was that really it? So we have this self-doubt, and we have to build our confidence by going back for more and more. More soup, sir! We have to go back for more and more, and we experience it again and again, and we slowly build that confidence. And having somebody else confirm your experience, whether it's another yogi or your teacher or your counselor, if they can confirm it for you, it's so empowering and liberating, and it grounds the whole thing. It grounds your spiritual practice, and it makes it that much more powerful. It really does. It's very, very magical. So some people don't want to talk about spiritual experiences. That's fine. They can stay there. But I absolutely see the value of it. Anna Wise also saw the value of it. Of course, you don't want to share with somebody who is not receptive, who has no understanding of how these things work in meditation, don't have any experience with meditation, and they're not open to it, and they're not interested or curious. Then of course you wouldn't share with those people because they're just not there. They're not interested. But if you have deep friends that can really hear you and know that you're not trying to brag, you're just trying to share the miracle that you have created inside of yourself, and you've worked so hard for it, and here it is, this is what happened, it was beautiful, I wasn't waiting for it. And they pat you on the back and say, well done, good job. Oh man, I should do this meditation too. This is great. Oh, and this happened to me. Does this resonate with you? And now you're sharing back and forth, and you're learning from one another. It's just glorious and beautiful when you find those deep friends for that. So absolutely, I think it's great to share your spiritual experiences. People share on this YouTube. You can see lots of experiences. People tell, this happened to me and this happened to me, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful, especially when you can use some of the names that we use here: the tranquil breath, the freeze response, the roll up of consciousness. These things are the really core important things. And so, heart rate variability resonance, the 4 proofs. These are beautiful, beautiful things. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.